Time now for sports and the law. The Jerry Sandusky Penn State child molestation case is in the news again. In a lawsuit between Penn State and the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association Insurance Company, information has come out that Coach Joe Paterno and another assistant were aware of the sexual acts on minors by Jerry Sandusky. This could have an effect on who pays the victims, either the school or the insurance company. So we need some clarification on this. Why don't we bring in our sports and the law expert, Steve Moskowitz. We get to him each and every week. How does this information affect the payment? Who is in charge of payment?
Jim, these are allegations of 40 years ago, and the fact that somebody said a sentence in a depot doesn't make it so. The family has come out and said this is utter nonsense. Anybody can say anything they want from 40 years ago. Where's the evidence? And that's where the insurance company is going to get stuck. The insurance company obviously doesn't want to pay, but again, you have to provide evidence.
All right, so if someone brings this up, the judge just says, no, that doesn't count. It may be a fact. Even if Coach Paterno and another assistant coach did that, are they members of the officers of the school? Are they considered that?
Now, that's where it becomes more problematic, because if evidence were presented that the trier of fact would believe, then the insurance company would say, well, wait a minute, this should have been reported right away, because that would cut off our damages. Because it wasn't, now you're asking us to pay all this money that we could have prevented. That's why they're bringing it up.
The judge ruled that Penn State University is eligible for payments from the insurance company.
Yes.
That's the correct move.
Exactly,
yes.
Because again, this is an allegation from 40 years ago.
All right, sounds good. Let's get to our second story, and it involves something called the Panama Papers. This involves the golf world as well. A group of golfers have been named in the Panama Papers that detail efforts by individuals who try to hide earnings in offshore accounts. There are golfers Padraig Harrington, Retief Goosen, and Ian Woosnam who were named in this report. But, Steve, I want to start with the Panama Papers. What are the Panama Papers?
Once again, one of my favorite words, allegations. Now, first of all, it was mostly Europeans that were hiding the money there. So far, there's only been a few Americans found. The Internal Revenue Service, of course, is looking at it. Again, a big law firm that specialized in investing people's money in foreign companies got hacked. All this information came out. Like the top guy in Iceland, he got in some trouble for having some money he shouldn't there. But what they're looking at now is, has there been any wrongdoing? Remember, lots of people have foreign accounts. They're perfectly legal. Mitt Romney had foreign accounts when he was running for prez, but he did everything legally. So if somebody has an account, that's fine. Did they go ahead and report the special reporting, which is not part of the tax return, the F-bar? Did they report the income? That's the important part here.
So we don't know if they did something incorrect. This is just a statement that they have offshore accounts.
It's like saying you have a gun. It's legal to have a gun if you've done the proper requirement. You've not been accused of murder just because you have a gun.
That's interesting. So we're publicizing when people who are wealthy make money and put it in an offshore account. They don't even have to do it illegally.
The Fortune 500 all do it. That's how they legally avoid paying taxes. Look at the billions they make and they don't pay taxes. We do that for much smaller companies.
All right, so we'll wait and see if they in fact find something wrong.
Wait and see is important.
Our third story on this one, taxes in the MMA. The IRS is investigating fighter Royce Gracie and his wife for fraudulently evading paying taxes on over $1 million between the years 2007 and 2012. The IRS believes they used foreign bank accounts and wire transfers. All right, Steve, can you clarify what this fighter is trying to do?
Now he's going to be in a real fight.
Uh-oh.
And he's done all kinds of things. The allegations are all kinds of things that he shouldn't. First of all, unreported income, that's a big deal. Then setting up shell companies, having deductions that are only in his imagination, making them up. And then to add insult to injury, this guy was making millions. He claims the earned income credit. That's the credit for the working poor, people that are working at a very low level to help them feed their kids. This guy's in a lot of trouble, and also he used foreign accounts to try to hide things. He did some of each. He took some from all the columns.
How difficult would it be for a fighter to utilize foreign accounts? Is that a red flag in itself that he was trying to put money around, or can he just say, hey, fighting is just one level of my income?
Again, foreign accounts are fine. Like it's fine to have an automobile. It's not fine to run somebody over with it. And the allegations here is he used this account, just like burying some money in your backyard, to not report it on your taxes. That's part of what he's being accused of, and making up deductions.
What could happen to Royce Gracie?
Oh, he could go to prison for years. And the IRS said they want $2 million from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are all kinds of, because what happens is there's two types of fraud. There's criminal fraud, that's go to prison for years. Civil fraud is 75% of the tax plus interest.
It's he and his wife who are being investigated here. Do they do them together as an investigation, or do they separate each one of them?
If it's a joint return, yes, and then what happens is one spouse may say that he or she didn't know anything about it, ask for separate spouse, and also with the foreign accounts, there's all that other special reporting because there are horrendous penalties on that, but that's a different court.
The golfers and the fighters getting involved in the overseas account. Steve
Taxes,
Moskowitz,
have to be very careful.
Exactly. You got to watch it. Steve Moskowitz, he's our man on the scene. Steve, thanks for your insights into this. All right. Tim Lincecum has reportedly narrowed his list of finalists to 3 teams. How badly do the Giants need him? We focus on the Freak next on Sports Talk Live, presented by Comcast Business.